What is going on, guys? You got Tone here, bringing you week number 1 of the UBC. The main Red Clawiters are looking to mega launch themselves into another draft league format. This time we are up against Vampire 218, coach of the Ontario Omastars. Now, if you guys did miss my draft analysis for the UBC, the link will be in the description down below as well. So before I jump into the team, I'm just going to go over and just run off my opponent's team really quick. His team, in no particular order, his team consists of the Glycopod, Alolan Marowak, Serena, Meloetta, Florigis, Hydreigon, Mega Aggron, Cryogonal, Thundurus Therian, Hitmonchan, and this Swampert. So his team is, if you want to say, all over the place, but at the same time, there are some synergy between some mons, like the Alolan Marowak covering for, well, it actually has 2 electric immunities, so with the Alolan Marowak and the Thundurus Therians. So couldn't really bring something like my Rotom Frost, which is kind of like has a bad matchup anyway, without like a Choice Scarf. And if I bring Scarf Rotom Frost, it doesn't really do much without getting rid of some mons. Some specific mons. Also, another thing to note is the fact that his fastest Pokemon is the Thundurus Therian at base 101 speed. In fact, that's the only Pokemon he has that breaks base 100 speed. And just to run down my team really quick, just Clefable, Diggersby, Metagross, Chestnut, Drapion, Sandslash, Megalopoly, Latias, Gengar, Seismitoad, and the Rotom Frost. So with that out of the way, I'm just going to run through the team I brought versus the Ontario Omastars, with the first Pokemon you see here being Pinky the Clefable, with Soft Boiled, Moonblast, Fire Blast, and Shadow Ball. Now, I could not bring Calm Mind Clefable in this battle because for many reasons. One, if I didn't have Shadow Ball, I could not touch Alolan Marowak. If he brings something like Meloetta with like Trick, Choice Scarf, it just cripples my Clefable. And for the most part, looking through his team, this set in particular just runs through his entire team with some prior damage. Moonblast is there for stab. You have Fire Blast, which, since I'm running an offensive tank Clefable as opposed to like a defensive Calm Mindset, Fire Blast can 2-hit KO even especially defensive Mega Aggron. Shadow Ball is there for the Alolan Marowak. Fire Blast also hits stuff like the Serena, the Cryogonal, stuff like that. But this set in particular, especially with Life Orb, if he's not invested in some of its mons, it can roughly 2-hit KO pretty much everything not named Meloetta and Florigis. So just running a simple max HP, max special attack, modest nature, Life Orb for the extra damage output, and of course Magic Guard to prevent Life Orb recoil and stuff like Toxic and Will-O-Wisp from like chipping down at its health. So that out of the way, Clefable just does a lot of work in this battle with some hazards, which I will go into very shortly. So moving on to the next Pokemon coming, we have Lola the Megalopoly with Substitute, Encore, Return, and Drain Punch. Now, I couldn't really run I could have ran High Jump Kick, but seeing his team and how much Lopunny can force switches to stuff like, if you bring like defensive Glycopod or defensive Swampert, I can force a sub and then go for like Drain Punch just to scout and see what they're going to do. And if they go for like Stealth Rock or Spikes, I can just go for the Encore and just provoke them even more. And if I have hazards up on there, so they're forced to switch out and take all that extra unnecessary damage for him. The speed lets me outspeed Thundurus Therian as it's its fastest non-Scarf Pokemon. Max attack with Adamant Nature, hit as hard as possible, and the rest just an HP just to make the substitutes as bulky as possible for Lopunny. Nothing really else much to say here, as normal plus fighting does do a lot to his team, just looking at it from an overview standpoint. Next up, we have Death Scythe, the Sand Slash, Stealth Rock, Stone Edge, Earthquake, and Rapid Spin. The investment here lets me take a Life Orb, Hidden Power Ice from a Thunderous Therian, and then I can proceed to Stone Edge it. Even though I'm not running that much attack investment, it does have a chance to one-shot. I think it does one-shot with some after Stealth Rock damage if it's already been set up. Rapid Spin, of course, to keep passes off my side of the field, as he has Alolan Marowak with Stealth Rock. He has Golisopod with Spikes, Mega Aggron with Rocks, and of course a Swampert gets Stealth Rock. So just Sandslash is just here to make sure that hazards are kept off on my side of the field, and to make sure I get rocks up on his side of the field. Nothing really much to say about Sandslash. I mean, it kind of makes it seem as though I'm using it as death fodder, but it does have its purpose. As long as I get up rocks, and he doesn't bring something like the Serena or the Cryogonal, then, or the Hitmonchan for that matter, I'll be in good business. So that being said, moving on now to the fourth Pokemon who we have here, we have the Diggersby with rocking the Assault Vest with Return, Earthquake, Knockoff, Quick Attack, with of course the ability Huge Power. This is pretty much going to be my one of my backup, not really my backup, but one of my main responses to the Thundurus. As with the Assault Vest, if he goes for Hidden Power Ice, it's not going to do much to me unless he's nasty plot like a Double Dance Thundurus Therian set, and then I could just bop him with a Return, which is a 2-hit KO. The combination of Return plus Quick Attack actually knocks out Thundurus if he's not running significant HP investment. Earthquake is for the Marowak, of course. Knockoff hits the Marowak too. Hits the hits the Mega Aggron. Quick Attack for priority. It also does me good for like bluffing like a Bandit set, as I couldn't really run Bandit. Like, if he brought a Alolan Marowak, I'll have myself into Return. I'm screwed. The HP, the speed investment lets me outspeed a Jolly Max Speed Alolan Marowak. Even if he brings a Alolan Marowak, which I'm expecting to check the Clefable, I seriously doubt he's going to run it offensively. Like, it has to be defensive, or else Clefable can potentially 2-hit KO him after like Stealth Rock damage and I think 2 layers of Spikes, if I recall correctly. But yeah, just in case he decides to run like an offensive Alolan Marowak to catch me off guard, running just enough speed for that. I don't really need to outspeed anything else in particular, because Diggersby can take on Hydreigon 1v1 thanks to Assault Vest. It takes on, well, pretty much everything else. It takes on Florges. He doesn't really have a lot of special attackers, and I can take an Ice Beam from a Cryogonal and just knock it out with a Return, with the Assault Vest plus the HP investment I have here. So that is the Diggersby. Moving on to Pokemon number 5, we have Nutcracker the Chestnut with Spikes, Roar, Seed Bomb, and Earthquake. My other form of hazards on this team, his hazard removal are all spinners, which doesn't like to take rocks damage, much less taking on Spikes damage. So if I can rack up the entry hazards with Stealth Rock on Sandslash and then Spikes on my Chestnut, phase things out with Roar, Seed Bomb, so I can hit the Swampert super effectively, and Earthquake for the Alolan Marowak and Mega Aggron. As for the EV spread, max HP, 152 defense with an Impish nature, giving it the ability to switch into physical mons like Hitmonchan, like Serena. Serena not running Play Rough. I would assume he would probably bring it, but at the same time, if he brings Play Rough on Serena, if he does bring it, he would have to forego either Rapid Spin or U-Turn, but depending on his team, I could probably guess what would be his remover. And the speed lets Chestnut outspeed and Adamant max speed Alolan Marowak, so he doesn't try to get the upper hand and try to burn me with Will-O-Wisp. So basically, Chestnut's job, get down Spikes, phase things out. If he brings a Swampert, just click Seed Bomb, just for some damage, and an Earthquake. Earthquake is Earthquake. The only thing this thing cannot touch is the Thunderous Therian. But if it can take a Hidden Power Ice from full, not HP flying. I think it's a roll, depending on its EV spread. So that is the Chestnut. And last but not least, we have Pokemon number 6, which is the Gengar, rocking the Ghostium Z with Shadow Ball, Sludge Wave, Focus Blast, and Substitute. Now, Gengar, like Mega Lopunny, can force switches. If I can get this thing in on something like a Florges or like Hitmonchan, something that can't really do much to Gengar, I get up a free substitute as he switches out. Force take this Stealth Rock and Spikes damage if I can get it up, and then just attacking with a Shadow Ball, whatever the situation arises for. And Ghostium Z is just there just to give me a powerful Never-Ending Nightmare on something not named Meloetta, as it's basically I can't even talk right now. As Meloetta is the only Pokemon on his team that is immune to the Ghost, so which I have Focus Blast for. Focus Blast also 2 it KOs the Mega Aggron, I believe, and Sludge Wave hits the. Alright, so we are here with week number 1 of Season 4 of the UBC. The main red closers are taking on Vampire 218 and the Ontario Omastars. Now, as you see the team that he brought, he brings the Meloetta, Florges, Hydreigon, Thunderous Therian, Swampert, and the Mega Aggron. So, Clefable can still put in some work against 4 of his 6 Mons, but he did bring the 2 Mons I did fear the most for Clefable to do anything, being the Meloetta and the Florges. Another thing to know is the fact that he did not bring any hazard removals, so getting up Stealth Rocks and Spikes with my Sandslash and Chestnut are going to be very, very crucial for me to win this game with either my Mega Lopunny or potentially my Gengar. If I can weaken or get rid of the Meloetta and get rid of the potential Scarf Hydreigon, or it's probably Scarf Thunderous. I don't think he would bring Scarf Thunderous against my team, considering I have 3 ground types. He could bring it, but he'd probably like a U-turn variant. But nonetheless, looking at his team, the lead most obvious to me on his side of the field would be Swampert, because it matches up well against my Stealth Rocker being Sandslash. So I decided to lead off with my Chestnut to counteract the potential Swampert lead. And if he leads up with anything else, I'll just adjust as the situation goes. So he ends up leading off with a Swampert as I thought. So I get up a free layer of Spikes and he switched out into the Florges here. I'm not going to stay in predicting the Moonblast, so I'm just going to go out into my Sandslash here, which his only real job is just get up Stealth Rocks and just go for damage. Takes the Giga Drain from +1 Florges, gets my rocks up. He goes for a second Calm Mind here. Probably thought I would go switch out to reserve this, but Sandslash didn't have any extra use in this battle. And I get the crit EQ, and then Sandslash dies to the next Giga Drain. But it does give me a free switch into my Diggersby here, and I get up a free return, and I end up killing the Florges. So in comes the Thunderous here. Now here he decided to go for Psychic, predicting me to go to Gengar on the Focus Blast. I had no reason to switch out because I was bulky as Soulfest. So down goes Hydreigon, Thunderous Therian to the return. I'm not going to stay in on the Swampert here. Go back into my Chestnut. He goes for Superpower, which is fine by me. I get up another free layer of Spikes for in the city. Free as a Seed Bomb. As he switched out into its Hydreigon. I don't care about that. So now I'm just going to go for Roar here. As he goes for the Flamethrower, which is fine by me. I go for the Roar and I go out. I get the Swampert again. And now I get to click Seed Bomb here. Just in case he decided to stay in, fearing me to Roar again. Try to get up his rocks. So in comes the Hydreigon. Chestnut doesn't have much of a purpose anymore, so I decided to let it go down to the next Flamethrower from Hydreigon. Give me a free switch to my Diggersby. He goes for the Dark Pulse here. And I go for the return. And return plus quick attack will just pick off this Hydreigon. So we're looking at a pretty good situation, 4-2. In comes the Mega Aggron here. I have no reason not to click Earthquake in this situation, as I unfortunately get a crit. The crit on the floor is better more than the crit on the Aggron here, because even though Diggersby goes down here, I go onto my Gengar, just pick it off with a Shadow Ball. That's all well and good. In comes his last Pokemon, the Meloetta, and then afterwards he reveals he is Choice Scarf Psyshock, which is now a problem because I have to hopefully get 2 low rolls with the Psyshock here, or if I got a special attack drop there on the Moonblast, I definitely won. But unfortunately, he got another low roll there on the Psyshock, and that is going to be a good game. So, picking up a 2-0 victory over the Ontario Omastars in this battle. Diggersby put in a ton of work in this battle, as I expected, as Assaultvest Diggersby did a lot to check the Thundurus Therian. It checked the Florges, it checked the Hydreigon, pretty much everything bar the Psyshock Meloetta. But if I was able to weaken that a little bit more, but he did a good job preserving it in the back until he got rid of most of my bulky checks, as my Psychic Resist was Sandslash or Diggersby. But nevertheless, this is a 2-0 win for the main Red Clawsters, starting off the season with a nice 1-0. Starting off the season with a win, 1-0. Not bad. So, next week we are going up against the Bristol Bulu, if I recall correctly. I don't remember off the top of my head. But, in any case, this battle recap was sort of short, but the game plan was executed to perfection once I saw the team he brought against me get up hazards, face about with Roar Chestnut, and then weaken stuff for the Diggersby and the eventual Clefable, which did end up tanking 2 Psyshocks. It revealed that he was a modest Scarf Meloetta. So the 2 Psyshocks ended up being a roll. Well, the first one was a roll, and if you had a high roll, he had a chance to knock me out. And then my Mega Lopunny would be, I wouldn't lose in the case that I didn't have to Mega. I would just stay regular Lopunny if I did lose my Clefable in that situation. So I would stay in my Mega form. Oh wait, I can't. I forgot you had to Mega first turn, so forget that part. Forget that part about staying in regular Lopunny form. So nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like and all that good stuff. And I want to get the heck out of here. But till the next time, my name is Anthony, aka Tone. I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side. Later.